Welcome to Perfect-ish, where it's not about having perfect time management, but about perfecting your relationship with time. I'm your host, Callie Brigham, and every week we'll talk all things time and how to maximize it without burnout or guilt. Whether we're chatting with an expert or I'm sharing my 20 years of time management experience, you'll learn simple strategies to make every moment count. Here, it's all about getting close to perfect-ish. So let's synchronize our watches and dive in. Hi, friend. One of the most rewarding and fascinating things about having clients that I work with their time management is that they get to be real life guinea pigs for you. We get to try out some ideas, we get to tweak them, we get to real world them for you. And then I get to come to you on the podcast with like a bright, shiny bow put on a package with a time hack or a life hack or a tip that I really think could possibly serve you. So thank you, clients that do the heavy lifting, you do the hard work, and then we reap all the rewards for that. We're going to share a story today. All right, on the fly, let me come up with a name for her. Let's call her Tina. And I feel like Tina is sort of your every woman. She aspires and desires to be connected to people and to her work and all of the things. However, it seems that the very thing that allows her to connect is also the thing that she realized she needed a little disconnect from, and that is her phone. I know, that's her phone. So Tina's story may resonate with some of you. She loves the idea of taking a Sabbath, but she's just not quite there yet. She loves the idea of having some downtime or having some unplugged time, but that just feels a bit elusive. She loves the idea of having a game plan so that she can refuel and recharge, but it feels like either a little bit selfish or elusive or something is always required of her in the time that she had originally set aside. Anybody relate to any of that? I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I'm sure you're probably feeling it. And so what we decided to do together as her experiment was we decided that we were going to try to have a little detox, but not so much that it was feeling unattainable or that it was feeling like she was going to have withdrawals from it. We called it a tech timeout for her. That's why I picked Tina, because the alliteration, of course, a tech timeout. And it was just going to be 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day that she was going to literally turn her phone off, preferably put it in another room so she couldn't even see it in eyesight. And she was going to have that 30 minutes completely away from, disconnected from her phone. Pretty incredible things started to happen, so much so that there are some days now where that 30 minutes turns into much more. But it is something that she's been able to sustain, and the effect of it on her mental state, physical state, on her patience, on her creativity has just been tremendous. She said to me the other day that she was finishing up an appointment with someone and she said to them, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, but I'm going to have to go. My tech timeout starts in about 20 minutes and I'm going to have to get out of here so I can start my tech timeout." Like, she is now protecting this tech timeout like it is the most sacred time of day, and it's been so awesome to watch. Way to go, Tina. So we've taken Tina's idea and then scaled it a little bit with some of my other clients and said, "Hey, would you want to join Tina in a little bit of a tech timeout, just 30 minutes a day?" And the result and the resounding yeses have been so fun. There's been some creativity in it. There's been some customization of it. And I'm actually going to present this as an opportunity for us as a community if you want to try it this week. So if you're listening in real time, the episodes drop on a Tuesday. let's give it this week, this 7 days to see how you do. And let me give you the guidelines. Let me give you what Tina and I started to establish together and a little bit of the why it works as well. So if this is you, if you just feel like you can't even hear yourself think anymore. And I will say in a future episode, I was having a fascinating conversation with a woman about distraction and that she really believes distraction is the number one enemy to pretty much anything that we are wanting, that we are pursuing, that is a priority. It's distraction. And we'll get to that. I asked her to be on the show coming up soon. But let's just say at the bottom line, at the basics, if you are feeling that in a world that rewards that constant connection, that the thing you actually need to reconnect with is maybe yourself or maybe silence or maybe quiet or maybe being able to just stop the scrolling and start paying attention and start listening. Here's where the issue is. I love statistics. I'm going to share them with you. Here we go. The average person touches their phone, so picks up their phone, interacts with their phone 2,600 times a day and spends nearly 7 hours on screens. And I feel like that is a little low. If you've ever had that notification that tells you how much time you spend on your screen, ouch. So we think that what we're doing is we're managing our time in our lives, but really our phones, our notifications, that dopamine hit that we get is managing us. And why we are addicted to it is the constant pings, the constant notification, the constant, you know, 15 seconds and then something else changes. That keeps our brain always reactive and it takes our brain away from the creative or the proactive. It trains us to chase. It trains us to chase that hit, that novelty, that basically we're not going deep, right? That surface level hit. And what we want to do is we want to think of it, maybe let's think about it this way. Imagine that you have a snow globe and the ideas, the thoughts, everything that's coming at you is swirling all day long. And in Tina's case, and maybe in your case, what we wanted to do was set the phone down, which is setting the snow globe down and letting things settle. Everything clears and you can really see again. All right, so here's what we did with Tina, and here's what I'm going to suggest with you. I'm going to give you a little bit of some guidelines here that I think would really help. First, you're going to choose your daily block. And I know that the temptation is just to say, okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to be accountable. This week, I'm going to do it. And just every day, it's going to be 30 minutes. Well, if we don't actually pick the time, it's not going to happen. So as we start to schedule it, we're just going to start with 30 minutes. We're going to start small. 30 minutes is it. And I will tell you that if even that's too much, start with a number, start with 10 minutes, start with 15 minutes. But we found that 30 minutes is really the sweet spot. It gives us enough time to sort of decompress, even though more time would even be better, but 30 minutes. Okay, picking the same time every day, we also noticed that that turned out to be kind of the critical piece for Tina. Now, what that looks like is totally up to you. That could be the first 30 minutes or your first cup of coffee. That could mean part of your lunch break. That could mean an after dinner walk. That could mean the 30 minutes that lead up to bedtime. But what you're going to want to do is pick, if at all possible, the same time each day. This is how we create a new rhythm and a habit. I really believe this is what caused Tina to become addicted to this instead, because it was something she started to look forward to every day. It didn't become another chore. It wasn't another to-do list. It was a, oh my goodness, I get my 30 minutes to breathe. So it could be doing something active. It could be maybe going outside. It could be sitting on your porch. It could be in a sauna. It could be anywhere. And really what we found that worked the best with her was to pick with an existing routine. So that habit stacking we've talked a lot about. So again, this could be maybe you have a 30-minute commute on the way home and you can turn your phone off And those 30 minutes, you allow yourself to think or pray or dream or whatever you want to do. You could even listen to music. We'll get that in a second, but not on your phone, not allowed to be touching our phone. So you could pair it with an existing routine if you want. But first is picking our daily block, going to be 30 minutes, preferably the same time every day. All right, are you already starting to think when you could put your 30 minutes? The next thing to set the scene was at first, Tina just took her notifications off. Then we moved to putting it on airplane mode. Then we actually just went to turning it off completely because that act of turning it off completely, there was something about the physical thing of powering it down, shutting it down. I don't know, there might still be, Wi-Fi waves going throughout if the phone is on. I'm telling you, there was something about actually turning it off. She also found she liked it if the phone was in another room because again, when you could see it, almost started to have those kind of shakes a little bit. Like, "Oh, it's right over there. I wonder if somebody's calling. I wonder if somebody needs me. I wonder if" So, she really needed to put it out of sight and out of mind. And again, at the beginning, there were times when she needed to set a little timer because her brain started to think, well, has it been 10 minutes? How long has it been? So this just allowed her to have that taken care of. And there were times too at the beginning that she found herself wanting to have some music to listen to. But again, it could not come from the phone. Okay. So choosing your block, setting the scene and kind of prepping. And then number 3 is planning what you'll do instead. So we also discovered that just saying 30 minutes actually was not helpful at the beginning because she was so unused to it that she thought, well, what am I supposed to do in these 30 minutes? So she needed a little bit of a list of some things that she could do. Sometimes it was a creative task. A lot of times for her, it was reading. Sometimes it was just kind of sitting outside, just being. A lot of times it was going for a walk, so kind of pairing that exercise piece of it, but this was not to be productive time. This was not time, "Okay, let me make my mental to-do list," or let me get no. This 30 minutes needed to be less productive, more just being present. It's really what it was. Because again, this is the unplug. This is not just an opportunity to put your phone away. This was really what it needed to do for her mentally and emotionally. I will say that to expect some withdrawal, and I know you're like, golly, you're talking like it's a drug. It is a drug. It is a drug. And the first few days were really challenging. And she started to think and rationalize and things like, well, but what if an important call comes in? What if somebody needs me? What? Okay, that's totally normal. That's why it's just 30 minutes. We're rewiring that dopamine loop that expects and requires stimulation. The calm is probably going to feel uncomfortable, and it felt very uncomfortable. But remember the end result. Remember that she literally had to leave an appointment on time. She wasn't being rude. She had to leave an appointment on time because she couldn't wait to get home so she could turn her phone off. Here's some of the things that she found that she got. She felt so much clearer mentally. Her thoughts got so much sharper when she wasn't reacting every 5 seconds. So the mental clarity really, really helped. Number 2 is the emotional side. She said she felt calmer. She felt more grounded. Eventually, the FOMO, fear of missing out, started to lessen. That took a little bit, but just she described it as emotionally more peaceful. This was interesting. Something else that Tina described was that she did feel more productive. It gave her a boost after that when she returned to her activity after, her focus was so much better. Another thing was the relationship part, the relational presence, because she had learned when she unplugged how to really be in the moment. And she said that carried over into times with her kids and time with her husband, time with her team. She said she was listening better, she was noticing more, she was remembering things. So neat. And then lastly, she said there was a spiritual component that, especially when she chose silence in that time, She found herself in gratitude and reflection and just noticing things more than when she was just rushing through, hearing more, listening more, not always having to be in control. So I think what was really neat from her was the disconnect from the device was more reconnection with where she wanted to be and where she wanted to go. Okay, so Tina, and I told her I would keep her identity secret, although I think she's almost at the point where she's ready to tell everybody. But we wanted to invite you to join us too. What if you did a 1-week tech timeout, 30 minutes a day? No phone, no extra external noise, no thousands of tabs open. By the way, you don't get to replace your computer with your phone or your TV with your phone. I know, I know. We're talking about tech. Of course, we're really honing in on the phone. And maybe you journal during this time. Tina's not a big journaler, but maybe you are. Maybe this is 30 minutes of journaling. And I want you to do the same thing we did with Tina at the end of that first week. To ask yourself, what changed? Did you think more clearly? Did you sleep better? Did you feel less rushed? What was it? And for Tina, we found that the answer was enough to try it again for another week, and then try it again for another week, and then to try it again for another week. I believe that if you're in the sound of my voice, you can find 30 minutes to unplug, to put your tech in a timeout. And I'd love to see if this works. Could we scale this to see if this works beyond just some of the clients that I have? Now, if the first day you forget and it doesn't happen, that is okay. And I'm also not talking about deleting every app. I'm not talking about going from nothing to 24 hours. We're just talking about 30 minutes. Let's give it a try for 1 week, a challenge. So we're going to synchronize our watches and we're going to power down our phones and we're going to see what a tech timeout can do for you. All right. Thanks, Tina, for taking one for us. Thank you for the experiment. Thank you for being willing to try something that feels a little uncomfortable, but the result has been life-changing. So let's try it together. Power it off. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Perfect-ish Time Management Podcast. Let's keep the fun going. Follow me on social and join our Facebook community. And if you're ready for some one-on-one time management coaching to reach the top of your game without burnout or guilt, I'd love to chat. Book a free interest call using the link in the show notes or send me a DM. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a 5-star review and share it with a friend who's ready to master their time too. Remember, we're in this together, making real progress towards becoming perfect-ish.